How to motivate yourself through life obstacles when it seems like no one else cares. And I do say seems because there are people who care, but their inability to achieve what they want to achieve up to that point prevents them from helping you. See, if we're both striving to get to where we want to be, unless we can mutually benefit one another, then I don't have time to help you. You don't have time to help me. Well, I got to motivate me. You got to motivate you. So, how do you motivate yourself through life's obstacles when it seems like no one else cares? First thing, you must wrap your mind around the concept and believe that no one else cares. Because those who do care, it's not going to benefit you. They're not going to be able to help you. They're not going to be able to motivate you. They got their own thing going on. So the best thing for you to do is wrap your mind around the concept and just believe and accept that no one cares. No one cares if you make it the way you're going to go. Besides the people who have something to gain. I mean, the people who know they're going to benefit financially, yes, those people care. But they don't care whether they don't care about motivating you. They just care about the end result. Anyone who is working with you, they don't count. They don't have to motivate you. They're contributing. I mean motivation. I don't mean the people who contribute, the people who do things, the people who have jobs that benefit the process of your progress. I mean just pure motivation, the people who give you a word of motivation. You can't rely on people for motivation. You have to motivate yourself. And the first part of that is loving yourself, accepting yourself. You are who you are. Either you hate it or you love it. There is no gray area. Either you love who you are or you hate who you are. If you hate who you are, then you're not who you're supposed to be, because once you become who you're supposed to be, you love that. You love it more than anything in the world because it's you. It resonates with you through and through because it's the true you. You have attached yourself to the true representation of who you are, not your representative. You have become the true representation of who you are. So you don't have that representative that we talk about all the time. You meet someone, they're this way. A few months later, they're that way. The true them comes out. So you have to love yourself, accept yourself. And if you don't love yourself, improve yourself. Also, and I said this to you before, stop looking at yourself as having strengths and weaknesses. You don't have strengths and weaknesses. You have strengths, and then you have things you're just normal at. You're just average at. Average is not weak. Average is average. Your average things are never going to be your strengths. Your strengths are going to be your strengths. Your strengths are strong because you use them all the time. If you have a gift of gab, then your talk game is going to get you through life in many situations. You're going to use it the most because it's the strongest suit. But the other things, there aren't weaknesses. They're just things you use in normal circumstances. In extenuating circumstances, you need your strengths. In normal circumstances, you use your normalcies, right? You're never going to meet a top tier athlete who's a Rhodes Scholar at the same time. You're never going to meet a top level engineer who could have been the leading scorer in NBA history if he had chosen another route. That's not how life works. Your strengths are going to take you to where you need to be. Your normalcies are going to help you navigate the way. Sometimes you have to rest your strengths. And when you rest your strengths, those normal things about you, those normal characteristics, those normal qualities, they come together in force. You can have two strengths. You can have 15 things that are normalcies. Those 15 things, they come and give your strengths rest. Stop looking at any part of yourself as being weak. Even if you are not doing the things you need to do and you're stuck on some things, don't look at yourself as weak. Look at yourself as lacking focus. The only way something can impede your progress is if you focus on it. Nothing can pull you off your path. Nothing can take you away from your goals and dreams. The only thing that can pull you away is lack of focus. It's not a strength, it's not a weakness, it's something that needs to change. We're all extremely gifted in certain areas. My area is to be connected with the Most High. I don't have an inheritance with the people. That's why I don't focus on getting rich. I mean, that's not my inheritance. I'm a descendant of the tribe of Levi. When I trace my heritage back, there's West Indian heritage. A little bit different than the normal. That's my thing. What's your thing? Don't compare your normalcies to other people's strengths. Don't compare your normalcies to your own strength. Yes, if you compare your normalcies to your strengths, they're going to look weak. You compare your strength versus strength. So the best offensive team versus the best defensive team should make a phenomenal series, right? Two teams that have phenomenal defense and neither of them can score, it's going to be a very low scoring game. It's going to be a game won in the trenches. We don't want that. We want strength on strength. We want opposing strengths, right? See, what you have to do, you have to work on understanding who you are at your core. The base version of yourself. Who is that? What is that? What does that represent? What does that stand for? That's the foundation of who you'll always be. So the longer you go without knowing the base version of who you are, the longer you stay on flat surface. You can't build on something that doesn't have a foundation. I don't care what it is. Whatever you're building has to have a foundation. The dwelling doesn't even have to be phenomenal. You could build a sandcastle, but you can't build it in mud. The foundation of the sandcastle has to be sand. Go in a tropical rainforest and build a sandcastle. How dare you? Your base version is the only thing that makes you who you are. Without our base version, we're all the same. Like we're like robots. We're coming off an assembly line. That's why following trends and trying to fit in and all of those things, you'll never get to who you're supposed to be doing that. There's no path to self-fulfillment that goes through being like everybody else. There's no path to self-fulfillment that goes through fitting in. There's no path to self-fulfillment that goes through following trends. That path takes you in the opposite direction. It makes you a cookie cutter, a carbon copy. We always say separation is elevation, but first you got to separate yourself from normal. You got to separate yourself from the crowd. You got to separate yourself from those people. You got to separate yourself from them. You got to separate yourself from those things. You got to separate yourself from that mindset. Until you can do that, you're ever going to be living in a quagmire of self-pity, a quagmire of self-destruction, a quagmire where you lack self-worth. That's why you can drink alcohol every day, because you lack self-worth. That's why you can sit on the couch all day and never even do a push-up, because you lack self-worth. That's why you can fill your body with sugar all day, because you lack self-worth. That's why you can stay at a job where you're treated like you have no value, because you lack self-worth. That's why you can be in a relationship where you're treated like an afterthought, because you lack self-worth. That's why you continue to have people around you that show you no respect, that show you no love, that show you no dedication, that show you nothing that a person should want to have from the people that they're dealing with. It's because you lack self-worth. You can't view your self-value from someone else's perspective, because they value what they value. And if you don't have those qualities, they're going to diminish your value. And if you believe them, you're going to diminish your value. No one can tell me anything about my value. I know what my value is. I've proven my value to myself over the years. I don't have to prove my value to anyone. If you're allowed to be around me long enough and allowed to view me from close enough, my value will speak for itself. The same way it does in my life, it'll speak for itself in your life as well. That's the mindset you must have when you're dealing with people. You can't allow people to treat you as if they have the power to define you, because those people will control your motivation. If people have the power to define you, they'll tell you you're not doing a good job when you know you're doing a phenomenal job, but you believe them more than you believe yourself. They'll tell you your result wasn't optimal when you know your result was the best result they ever seen in their lives, but you believe them more than you believe yourself. They'll tell you that your value is minimal, whether upfront or subliminal, and you'll believe them more than you believe yourself. How can you motivate yourself when someone else is controlling your own self-valuation? How can you possibly? You can't. The person that controls your valuation is the person that controls your motivation. I say again, the person that controls your valuation is the person that controls your motivation. When you're at a job and you believe that your value is based on what your supervisor says, when you get a raise, you're motivated to work harder. When you get the promise of a raise, you're motivated to work harder. You know how many people have been promised a raise and then they work 2 years, then they work 5 years, they work 10 years, and they ain't seen the raise yet. Let me tell you something, man. There was a time in the state of Mississippi where people that work for the state, the state hospital, the prison system, the whatever it is, the whatever state department you work for, those people hadn't had a raise in 25 years. And then when they finally got a raise, it was small. And they told them, we'll give you half in January and give you the other half in July. Man, that was 2015. It's 2024. Finna be July. And they still hoping to get that second half this year in July. We talking about 9 years later, they still hoping to get that second half. But they all stayed because they were motivated. And now some of them have even stayed because they still waiting on that second half. 9 years later, they still waiting on that second half. Why? Because you've allowed someone else to determine what your value is. No one is going to determine what my value is, brother. Fixed in crypto. Appreciate the 5 bones. On time message, brother. I just dealt with this. I had to check my people for trying to question my relationship with God. Man, they'll do it all the time. Let me tell you something, brother. You got one time. They got one time to question my relationship with God. You got one time to tell me I don't know God. When you say that, then I don't know you. See, I know God, but when you say that, I don't know you. I never thought you would have said something like that. I'm paranoid with you in my presence now. I thought you were someone else, and now you talking like this. I have no idea who you are. Ooh, I'm scared of you. I'm shaking in my boots. See, when you value yourself based on something other than your spiritual connection to the Most High, then you're easily manipulated. If you, let's say, a financial perspective, if you value yourself, your self value is based on your financial position, then you'll monetize yourself. Your self worth is easily monetized. The longer that you stick your value to your financial gain, what if you fall off? You'll do anything to get back on. You'll cut all kind of corners to get back on. You'll do unscrupulous things to get back on. You got to motivate yourself, man. Listen, let me tell y'all something, man. And later on, we'll talk about, man, how you got to live in the now. You got to live in the now. You can't worry about tomorrow. You got to live in the now. Today is the only time that we can live in. We got to live in that time today. So you don't have time to be still struggling with your self-worth and self-value and still allowing other people to determine whether you're going to be motivated or not, and still allowing other people to no rain on your parade and take you out of the mindset you need to be in order to achieve the things you want to achieve. You can't afford to do that. See, we talk about education all the time, education and degrees and formal education and all this. Man, let me tell you something. The greatest form of education you'll ever have to deal with is self-education. And what do I mean when I say self-education? I don't mean educate yourself. I don't mean learn things of the world yourself. I don't mean open a book. No, I mean self-education means educate yourself about yourself. That's true self-education. Educate yourself about yourself. Separation is elevation, but separation is elevation because separation gives you a time for education. Listen, self-education and separation go hand in hand. That's the whole purpose of separation. The whole purpose of separation is to separate yourself from things so you can so you can indulge in, a unique form of self-education where you're educating yourself about yourself. Learning yourself is what they call it. But you can't learn yourself unless you're teaching yourself about yourself, right? So it's self-education. Education is the process of teaching and being taught. Learning and teaching, that's education. And on every level of formal education, there's somebody teaching, there's somebody learning, right? So we're talking about self-education. You're teaching yourself about yourself by separating yourself from everyone else. This is what we must focus on, brothers. We must remember that all that matters is what you know about yourself. All that matters is what you know about yourself. All that matters is how you believe in yourself. All that matters is how you respect yourself. All that matters is how you support yourself. All that matters is how you love yourself. All that matters is how you build yourself. All that matters is how you heal yourself. And all that matters is how you motivate yourself. And in order to motivate yourself, you must have all of these other areas on lock. You must have them all on lock. Looking for validation, looking for approval. Man, let me tell you something, brother. Seeking approval from people is it's a exercise in futility, because seeking people's approval is based on what they think at any particular time. Somebody may approve of something today and disapprove of it tomorrow. You can't allow so much of your life to be determined by people's opinion. We're not even talking about facts. We're talking about people's opinions. People's value of you, their perceived value of you is based on their opinion. Somebody's ability to motivate you to do what? People don't motivate with their words. People motivate with their actions. You know who you're motivated by? The person who's done what you're trying to do, the person who's accomplished what you're trying to accomplish, the person who is where you intend on being. That's your motivation. That's the only motivation. Self-education is the key to self-worth, and self-worth is the key to self-motivation. If you value yourself, you motivate yourself just based on the value. Your value motivates you. You believe in you because of your self-value, your self-worth. That's why you believe in you. I know what I'm worth. I know that I can do this. I know that I can accomplish this because I know me. I look at the things I've already done. That's my motivation. If I can do those, this is easier than those. Stop prizing people. When you prize people, you prize their opinion, you prize their viewpoint of you, you prize their valuation of you. You believe that what they say about you should be taken in consideration enough to where it has the potential to affect the way you view you. And you simply can't do that. It's not beneficial. Everyone that you pedestalize and put on a pedestal and prioritize, at some point, they cross the line into having more value than you do. I'm talking about to yourself. You give them more value than you give yourself. And the only person who you should give that to is God, the Most High, bro. Everything that you feel about putting somebody above you, putting somebody on a pedestal, prioritizing somebody, that should all go to the Most High. When God said you shall have no God before me, you know he mean you can't have no man before him. If you can't have no God before him, you know you can't put no human before him. Only person you should view as the prize is the Most High, bro. I don't view nobody else as a prize. It don't matter who it is. It don't matter what it is, bro. It just ain't it. You got to get to the point where if someone tells you something positive about you, it doesn't move you because you've already told yourself that and more. Your own motivation, your own accolades, your own credit, giving yourself credit for stuff. Hey, man, nobody have to give me credit. You don't have to give me credit where credit is due. I already got my credit. God gave me some credit and then I gave myself some more credit. You don't have to tell me that I'm this or that I'm that. I mean, if you do, cool, I appreciate it. But you don't have to. You not telling me ain't gonna make me know it already. I already know what you telling me. You just finding out. See, no matter what happens, when somebody finds out how great you are, they're just finding out. You knew it already. I don't care about nobody just finding out. Man, what you think I care about you telling me, oh man, yeah, but you think I care about you telling me something about me that I already been knowing for 10, 15 years? No, it doesn't move me, man. I'm glad you wise enough to see it. But it was here before you knew it. And if you even if you didn't know it now, it's still gonna be true. You gotta motivate you because you know you. How somebody else gonna motivate me? You go hold up. You gonna motivate me when I'm the one putting in all the work in my life? I'm gonna motivate me because I know the work I put in. I know that I'm gonna put the work in. I know that I'm gonna get on my grind. I know that I'm gonna stay focused on what I need to stay focused on. I know I'm gonna do it. I don't know what you're gonna do, but I know what I'm gonna do. And so my motivation is based on I know who's going to accomplish the things. Me, not you. No one does care. When you look at what care means, when I say no one cares, I'm talking about the way that I care. The way that I care is the baseline level of caring. If you don't care at least as much as I care, then you don't care. If you're not willing to sacrifice at least as much as I'm willing to sacrifice, then you don't care. If you're not willing to focus at least as much as I'm willing to focus, you don't care. If you're not dedicated to the process of my progress, at least as much as I'm dedicated to the progress of my progress, you don't care. The process of my progress, rather. You don't care. So how do you motivate yourself through life obstacles when it seems like no one else cares? Because no one else cares. You have no choice. You got to keep it moving for you. You got to let me tell you something. There's three things about yourself you need to remember. You're the only one who knows you. You're the only one who's going to put forth the type of effort, energy, and grind that you'll need to put forth. And you're the only one who's going to stick through to the end no matter what. I don't care what you do with your life. From now to the end of your life, you're the only one that's guaranteed to be there. I don't care what kind of relationship you have with anybody. I don't care how much love you think is there. When it comes to people, nobody's going to be there at the end but you. That's your motivation. You motivate yourself by knowing that no matter what, you're going to see it through to the end with yourself. I'm my motivation and I motivate me. Why? Because I know I got to motivate myself because anybody else going to be there. And I know I got to look to myself for motivation because ain't nobody else going to be there. The motivator and the motivated of myself, we're going to both be there every step of the way. You're all you got. It's not something we just say, it's something that's real. Now, you may have people around you now. When I say you're all that you have, I mean long term until the end of your life, you're all that you have, meaning you're all that you know for sure is going to be there and be in your corner. It don't matter what happens in your life, you're the only one there in your corner. Go do the wildest thing you could do and end up in the hospital. You're the only one going to be in your corner. These people that are looking at you, praying over you, come talk to you, visit you from time to time, but then they got to go on with their lives. You know what you're going to be doing? In there with yourself 24 hours a day, laying in the hospital bed with the tubes, IVs, and all that coming out of you. That's what you're going to be doing. And so I want y'all to understand that You have no choice but to be your motivation. Give your own self the accolades. Give your own self the promotion. Give your own self the devotion instead of thinking you're going to get it from other people. You may, but yes, everyone wants to see a champion. Everybody wants to look. You ever notice how you win the championship, they say the bullseye is on you? Yes, because everybody who was motivated for you to win and wanted you to win, the Boston Celtics just won the championship. Everybody in the Eastern Conference wanted them to win because it was East versus West in the finals. They wanted Boston to win. Now, all those people who wanted them to win in the Eastern Conference want to beat them next year. They go from being the most celebrated to instantly the very next day. Once that buzzer sounded and everybody came down off the high, everybody went back to their lives. And you know what everybody else in the conference said? Oh, we got to get them next year. That's how life is. Everybody wants to celebrate with a champion, but then they don't want you to be the champion anymore. Everybody wants to celebrate and have the ticker tape parade with the winner, but then they don't want you to win anymore. They don't want you to win anymore. People get tired of you winning. I want you to think about how that sounds. People get tired of you winning because they want you to win, but they don't want you to be a winner. You know what a winner is? A winner is someone who wins, and once they win, they keep winning. They keep winning. I wouldn't doubt the Boston Celtics go back to back. Now that they've gotten over the hump, they've been there every year for the past 4 or 5 years. Now that they've gotten over the hump, I wouldn't be surprised if they win one back to back. If they stay healthy, if Tatum, if they can keep Tatum and Brown and maybe Drew Holiday for the next 3 years, they're gonna get at least one more out of the next 3 years if they stay healthy. Because they're winners. See, you gotta avoid haters. Hateration and motivation ain't the same thing. Haters will act like they're motivating you because they're associated with you. Many people want to be associated with the winner. Association and motivation is two different things. You can't confuse association with motivation. Yes, there are a bunch of hangers on. Everybody want to hang on with the favorites. Everybody wants to be around the favorites. And as you get closer and closer to winning, yes, people want to make more and more noise because they want to let everyone know, hey, listen, I'm aligned with the winner. I'm aligned with the favorite. We're going to win it all. Yes, we are. We're going to win it. I'm telling you. The moment you raise the trophy, the moment you start winning in life, a lot of those people fall to the wayside because you know what they realize? They realize that your win is not necessarily a win for them. They realize that your success doesn't necessarily represent success for them. So all the time you thought they were motivating you, they were just associating with you. You were on your way anyway. Once you win, you realize that there's nobody there to motivate you in a way. As actually, they're trying to kill your motivation. They're trying to kill your drive. They're trying to keep you from being a winner. They want you to be a one-hit wonder. So give yourself accolades for your accomplishments. Listen, we live in a society where if you give yourself accolades for your accomplishments, you're called cocky and pompous. You're called proud and haughty. Man, God don't like a proud and haughty spirit. I just ain't proud and haughty. It's telling you, hey, look, I've been working hard. I know what I got here. I know what I'm about to do. I've been doing this thing. I got this under control. Barring an act of, one of my favorite terms to use is barring an act of God. Barring an act of God, I'm on. If God don't stop it, y'all can't stop it. So barring an act of God, I'm going to do this. Barring an act of God, this is going to be a success. Barring an act of God, this is going to the epitome of the industry. Barring an act of God, we're going to be undefeated. But I always use that, and I believe it 100%. Barring an man can't stop it. Barring an act of God, it's going to happen. That's the number one key to motivation is understanding that barring an act of God. If I'm in line with God and I'm aligned with God and in tune with God, nothing can stop me. That's my motivation. I know for sure that what I'm doing is going to be successful as long as God approves of it. Y'all can't do nothing with what God approves of. If God approves it, I can't lose it. I ain't gonna choose it if God don't approve it. You understand me? That's the reality of it, bro. I want y'all to understand, man, that the realest thing you could ever do is develop your relationship with the Most High in a way that puts you in a position where you know where you know you're on the mission you're supposed to be on. Therefore, you know it's what God wants you to be doing. It can't fail if you're doing what God needs you to do, what God wants you to do, what God put you here to do. That's why aligning yourself with the Most High is the most important thing. You have to accept yourself for who you are and love it. Because until you become who you are, you don't know what God has for you, and you don't know how to properly connect with the Most High, bro. You don't know it. Surround yourself with positive people, man. Surround yourself with people who understand that you're on a mission for the Most High and they feel the energy of it. People who are trying to find their connection to the Most High. People who are willing to understand that if you are the leader, then they must follow. Not people who want to come in and challenge the leadership. Not people who want to come in and challenge the direction. That's the only thing that enhances your confidence. And when you're confident, then your growth and improvement will shoot through the roof. You have to be confident in yourself in order to grow that self. Again, we go back to accept yourself for who you are and loving it. You have to have that type of confidence in yourself in order to improve yourself. If you don't know yourself, you can't grow yourself. I only accept positive life building energy. And people who have not done anything with their lives, they don't have positive life building energy. People who are in situations where there's nothing positive going on in their lives and they're still trying to figure it out, bro, listen, I can't have people around me who still trying to figure out their direction. I don't deal with those kind of people, man. If you can't be in close proximity to me if you still trying to figure out your direction. If you're not already on your path, then we shouldn't even be in the same environment. If we're in the same environment, you're not even on your path yet, I got to ask myself, what am I doing? It's got to be something I'm doing. It's got to be something. These are the things that we must always remember in this life because there's nothing else. If you're against what I'm doing, fine. You can't be around me. If you're against what I stand for, fine. You can't be around me. If you're going the opposite direction where I'm going, fine. You can't be around me. If you're more concerned about what you're going to do in your own life than what you contribute to mine, fine. That's your right. But you can't be around me. I'm going to protect my energy. I'm going to protect my environment. I'm going to protect my circle by any means necessary. And anyone inside that circle is going to have positive life building energy that's going to contribute to my mission of enhancing my growth, improvement, and therefore confidence. These are the only thing that's going to do. You know what I'm saying? You have to dissociate from people who are down. You help people who are down, but you can't be in a circle of people who are down on themselves. When you're down on yourself, it's one of the worst situations that you can't trust the energy of a person who's down on themselves. Who knows what they're going to do to feel better about themselves? Who knows what it's going to cost you for them to feel better about themselves? Who knows what, man, listen, bro, you just can't trust it. You got to surround yourself. And it's a tough thing. People say all the time, you think you're better than us now. I am better than y'all now. Because I decided to find myself and go where God wanted me to be and do the thing that God wanted me to be. Man, people tell me all the time, man, why don't you go here? Why don't you move here? Why don't you go here? Man, I'm going to go where God put me. That's what I'm going to do. Wherever God send me, I'm just hoping I can hear clearly and follow the instruction and direction. That's why I tune y'all out. I need to be motivated by God, by my relationship with God. That's what needs to motivate me. That's the only way I'm going to go where I need to go and do what I need to do and keep it tried and true. You understand me? That's the only way. I have to do that. I don't need you to motivate me. You don't need them to motivate you. The Most High is your motivation. Look at the word of God. That's your motivation. If you do these things right here and do these things right here, I'm going to bless you like this. If you do those things over there and those things over there, I'm going to curse you like that. What more motivation you need? Everything you talking about you need motivation. I need some energy. I need everything you need is in the word of the Most High. Stop looking in the world for it. That's what the world wants you to do. The world wants you to look in the world for motivation where they can sell you some motivational scripture, some motivational books or some motivational quotes, or you always online looking at memes of motivation and all that. Hey man, the motivation in the word of the Most High. You talking you need to find some positive energy. You need to blah, 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 blah. So you looking for all that positive energy and around here casting spells on yourself and all that. The energy you need is in the word of the Most High. You right to I don't know which direction I need to go. What's my purpose in life and blah, blah, blah. Bond yourself with the Most High and then you'll know who you are. And once you find out who you are, your purpose becomes clear. What you should be doing becomes clear if you know who you are. If you don't know who you are, don't worry about what you're supposed to be doing. You don't even know who you are. You're trying to find what you're supposed to be doing, but who you looking for? You're trying to find what somebody's supposed to be doing, and you don't even know if it's the real you or not. Seek and ye shall find doesn't apply anywhere else more than it applies to the word of the Most High. Everything you need is in the word of the Most High, brother. The solution to every problem, how to be motivated, self-educated, man, listen, all of it is in there. And so you have to dissociate yourself from the people and places and things that don't support your mission. You can't afford to not be on the mission that God put you here to be on. You can't afford it. You only have, who knows how much time you got, but it's limited. Even if you live 100 years, your time is limited to 100 years. That's a long time for a human these days, but it's still a limitation. Your time here is limited. So you need to be on your mission. So what you have to do at first, you have to start separating yourself from people who are against you trying to transition. If they're against your transition, they're against your mission. You understand me? It takes transition to come out of the world to get to where the position you need to be spiritually so you can be what you need to be and do what you need to do for God to come and grab a hold of you and show you some direction and some protection. You understand me? These are the things that we must do, man. Listen, the internal you is the only thing you have in life. The internal you protects everything around you. It protects the physical you, the mental you, the emotional you, the financial you even. It protects every aspect of you, brothers. And you have to align yourself with it. Properly align yourself with it. How do you do that? By remembering that this is the only life you have and God is the only God you have. Align those two things together. You got one of each. Align your one life with your one God and watch what happens to your life. You want a wife? You want friends? Well, make sure she earns your intimate connection and make sure they earn your friendship. It's valuable. As much value as you have to yourself, you're going to have 10 times as much value to them. You got to keep that in mind. Your value to them is 10 times more than it is to you because you've been knowing you your whole life. You used to it. They never made anyone like you before. So the positive energy and the introspection that you're going to bring into their lives to make them better is worth 10 times as much as it's worth to you. And you got to remember that. That's why you got to make people earn your presence. You got to make people earn that by their actions, by their engagement with you, by their connection with you. You can't afford to do anything else, brothers. And I mean this. And if none of this makes sense to you, then you need to find yourself. That's the first thing we talked about. Accept yourself for who you are and love it. And if there's something about yourself you don't like, then you need to dedicate yourself to the Most High so you can find the version of you that you do like. And the true you is going to be that version. So do this, but only for yourself. Because remember, you got to motivate yourself. All right, brothers, we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. I'll see y'all later, man, on the later show, man. I'm get up, man, and get ready to go get me this vegan spot, man, is having vegan street tacos today. And they make the taco base out of quinoa. So I'm going to go check that out, man. Look, y'all put God first. Keep grinding and growing and always knowing, man. Look, we'll be back. I'll see y'all later, man. Later show. Remember, today's show is going to be about you have to live in today. Today is the only day you have, so live today. Your life is now. Your future is now. Your present is now. Everything is now. So we'll talk about that later on today, man. Look, y'all put God first. Keep grinding and growing, my brothers. We're going to get ready to slide on out of here, man. Peace.